Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Now I think your mic's not working.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Silverline's Wednesday Night Wham, hosted by me. I am making do with scheduling issues and not having access to our host calendar, so we are going to be winging it tonight. And while we wing it, I am joined by Brent Larson, Quentin, who's last name I don't know.
Bedwell.
Quentin Bedwell. And Haley Martin. So we're going to do our introductions. We'll figure something out what exactly we're going to talk about. We got some sponsors to talk about as well as our ongoing Kickstarter. So I'll pass it off to Brent. Tell us who you are, what you do, where people can find you.
Right. And where I am, how about?
Yeah.
My name's Brent Larson. I am the creator and writer of the Silverline book, Kalis, which I'm pretty excited. The third and fourth issues are done. So hopefully it won't be too long before you'll be seeing those. And I am the creator and writer of the upcoming Silverline book, Cape Town, which is also the first issue is in production and it's looking really sharp. Hey!
Yeah.
And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Brent.Vector. And also on my website, BrentTLarson.com. I'm in Orlando, Florida. Not the most interesting place to be, but it's nice and warm. So there you go.
There you go. My camera's bugging out again. Give me 1 second. But Quentin, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
You cut out there for a second, Tim.
There we go. Quentin, go through your introductions, if you would.
Yeah, Quentin Bedwell, currently working on Trump's book 3 for Silverline. Pete is doing book number 4, and so I'm enjoying that. You can find me different places, but currently I have a board game up on Game Crafter called Relic Quest. It's got its own story and everything. So I make board games, draw, and that's pretty much it.
All right. And
I'm very happy to be here.
Perfect. And where are you beaming in from currently?
Texas, San Angelo, Texas.
Very
Almost in the desert with the tarantulas and the bats and snakes. I'm originally from Mississippi, though, so I went from gators to, tarantulas and scorpions.
So not a whole lot of walking on barefoot in your purview.
No. The grass here, you don't want to lay in it and roll around. It's like spiky. It looks lush in some places. Mostly it just stays kind of like a a blonde kind of hue,
Yeah.
but for the most part, you don't want to get down in it and roll around. It'll tear you up. Yeah.
Alrighty. And Haley.
Right, well, I'm Haley Martin. I am the artist for an upcoming Silverline title called Bear, which is written by Roland Mann. So that should be coming up soon, getting close to being finished with that. I also do my own webcomic called Heroic Shenanigans. You can find me on Instagram as Haley Martin Art, and I am also in Florida. I will take the Gators over tarantulas any day.
Yeah.
All right. And I am Tim TK, the associate editor at Silverline, producer of our Wednesday show, and writer, creator of Wolf Hunter, World War II espionage action comic set to go through Kickstarter later this year. You can also find me through everything at Tim TK Writer. And I am coming to you from Oregon. Not too much in the way of insects or reptiles, but we do get quite a few bears. So that's what we got.
Oh yeah.
All of Oregon?
Most parts. I mean, even if you go through, if you're not like downtown Eugene or Portland, you're probably gonna still see a bear at some point.
That's so cool. I love bears.
Yeah. Gail Simone, one of the our pretty prolific writer herself. She had a Twitter thread ongoing about how there was a river or a bear that was watching the salmon run just like a few blocks away from where she lived. So there's just a bear in her front yard several times a week.
Wow. Sounds like fun.
Yep. Alrighty, so first things first, we got to pay the bills, and to do that, we're going to thank Daytona Beach Comic Con, our comic convention. They are the premier comic convention and collectible convention in the Daytona Beach area. And their stuff is going on later this year. You can visit their website for more details, DaytonaBeachComicConvention.com. And my mouse disappeared. I'm having all sorts of technical issues right now, so it's a joy over here. There we go. And we also thank the History List, providing you History Camp America, which is going on July 10th. They're in partnership with my own comic Wolf Hunter, as well as Steam Patriots, which just got funded on Kickstarter. And they they have a weekly series where they talk with history writers and researchers, as well as their camp happening this summer, where they will go through an online conference of sorts talking about historical figures. So check them out. Let them know we sent you. And like I said just a skosh earlier, our Kickstarter got funded. That is for Divinity number 2 and Steam Patriots number 1. Of course, though, you can get Divinity number 1 included. Divinity, it did win an award last year. I believe something like Best New Independent Title. Number 2. Yep, in that series. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find them both Kickstarter. Just type in Divinity or Steam Patriots. You'll find it there. We are $124 over original goal with 11 days to go. So back at now, we are working on stretch goals, and we will get that sorted and some new things for people to contribute to and possibly earn in the future. And of course, if you back at a higher level, you can get original art. So, like I said, it's just the four of us today and Haley's art. So we will be watching that as we talk. What we're talking about, I'm not entirely sure. So I figured we'll just kind of start out light and easy since we did just launch 2 new comics. Oh, I guess one new entry in a series and one entirely new comic. Through Kickstarter. And there have been also a couple other new releases. I figured we just kind of do the classic icebreaker and talk about what we're reading for a little bit here. So I'll pass it on to Brent since you're just next in line. What are you currently reading? Comic, novel, otherwise?
Otherwise, sheesh, man. Okay, let me see. I am reading several comics. I made myself a promise when I was a kid that I would read the Avengers. It's the only comic I would ever read, even if it sucked. Thankfully, it doesn't suck right now, so that's good.
Perfect.
I'm also enjoying Fantastic Four, and then several independent books. Like I actually just picked up the new Sandman Lock and Key crossover, which I haven't read
Ooh.
yet, but I love Joe Hill's work. I pretty much buy anything he does. I just started reading Scott Snyder's new book called The Nocturna or Noctera, I think, or something like something Noct, or actually Noct something, I think. So anyway, that was pretty good. I read the first issue. I've been reading a book called Undiscovered Country,
Oh, yeah.
which is pretty good.
I dig it.
I really say again.
I said I dig it.
Yeah. Really, I'm enjoying. I've found that comic book stories that are not necessarily standard superhero books, that it's actually a great medium for any kind of story. I
Mhm.
think that's something people don't realize is not only has it left the capes behind, but like I've seen full-on human drama in a comic book form that works perfectly. So I've been reading those, and then I actually am still reading through the Sandman trade paperbacks for the first time that I managed to find really cheap, and I just love it. Oh, what else? And I've been reading the Stephen King short story collection Night Shift, which was his first one, because I'm kind of into short story writing these days, and I kind of want to study the those have gone before. So I've read
Yeah.
those. I'm also reading the short stories of O. Henry, which is pretty darn good. I just finished Leviathan. It's a Leviathan and it does something, but it's the first book in the Expanse story.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Was that Leviathan's Wake? Or no, Leviathan Waking.
no, it's yeah, something like that. I feel like an idiot. And I
Something
read the whole book.
something having to do with waking up.
Yeah, Leviathan. Yeah.
Okay.
Waketh, shrugs, I don't know, gargles, yeah,
Yeah.
Leviathan brushes, yeah. But anyway, great book. Looking forward to the next one. I am also reading. I managed to get the Grendel omnibus, the first one. I've been reading through that. That's pretty interesting. All the Grendel stories are like 6 pages to 8 pages long. It's really a new way to do a comic, so that's kind of cool. And yeah, I'm reading a screenwriting book. I'm reading a book on several different things.
Yep.
Anyway, so this is probably the standouts, and I don't want to keep listening to my own voice.
Sure.
It's great.
I did just hit the Google search, and it is Leviathan Wakes. So the most simple verb we could put in there.
That's terrible English. Okay, so it's a Leviathan, and he has awoken.
Yes.
So, or she. I suppose it's a lady Leviathan. It's also possible. So, there you go.
Alrighty.
Well, I'm not actually reading anything right at the moment, but I've got a stack on my desk, which always books come and go from the stack. So I am finally, because I was able to find it super cheap.
Oh yeah.
I really dig the art in it, and I just wanted to really dip into it. I know a lot of the highlights. I just wanted to kind of take it in, digest it.
Absolutely.
Also, some old.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that on sale, so Eventually, I will get to these, but I am in so much work right now. I go straight from my day job to the comics, so
That's fair.
not much time. But
Yep. And Haley, what are you currently reading or?
Yeah, I've got a couple things here, and I've been reading. I don't know if any of you guys use Hoopla, which is like one of those library things where you can like.
I've perused.
Yeah, they've got like I know, but they have at least with my library, they've got a bunch of comics. So I've been reading like a bunch of stuff on there. Like there's some Flash comics that I'm reading right now because I'm really like just kind of starting to get into this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, I like the Flash. I'll read. It's like the Rebirth or something. I don't know. There's
Yes.
so many different like
yeah,
lines, but
Mm.
I'm enjoying that one. And then and there's a bunch of like other graphic novels on there. Like one that I read on there that I ended up liking so much that I bought it is this one called Primer, and it's published by DC, but it's like a standalone thing, I'm pretty sure. Like I really like the art, like, some of it, like really fun and colorful. And she's like this superhero who like uses these paints, like each color of the paint gives her a different power. It was pretty fun and cute. And then I've also been rereading this Space Boy, which I think I've talked about it before. It's one of my favorites. I actually got to work with the artist a little bit. He has different people come on and like help him with flat colors for a couple months, so I got to do that. And
Cool.
it's on Webtoons, and there's like over 200 episodes. I think book like 8 or 9 is the last one that's out, but there's like a lot more. Maybe someday the the ones that I helped with will be in print soon. But so I've just been rereading through that since I just got some of the new books in the series. Yeah, pretty much it.
Fair. Recently, I've been reading through I just got to it. I got when it came out in like October. I just got to actually reading it, which is the second book in Joe Abercrombie's current trilogy. It's called The Problem with Peace. Which is the only novel I'm working through at the moment. Just did Johnny Got His Gun. Actually on Roland's recommendation. So that was I think it's more of a novella, but I enjoyed that. In terms of actual comics I'm reading at the moment, I am catching up on Ben Piercy's X-Force. And I am also working through Sword, the current run, and Eternals on the Marvel side of things. On the more indie side, I'm still reading The Department of Truth. Every time we get a
friend of mine's been picking those up.
it's a good book, but yeah, every time you get a title with more than 3 words in it, I have to think about it. Department of Truth, as well as actually, I have this open up here. Let's finish it. Okay, moving on to a different list. Oh, and Future State Aquaman from DC. That was super neon pop, alternate take on Aquaman, which I appreciate. But essentially, it's once Aqualad takes over, and having
Aqualad.
Yeah. So that was a fun take on the character. I never been the biggest fan of Aquaman, but his moment in Darkest Night, I super dug. And I just recently got from Kickstarter, it actually just arrived, was Maddie. Maddie, Once Upon a Time in the Future. I forget the writer's name now. It's one of the writers is Alex DeCampi. And who's the guy that did the movie Moon?
Boom.
Yeah, he's kind of an indie darling.
actor.
Uh,
I wish I had a device that could actually answer all my questions
Right.
about media and
Duncan
stuff.
Jones. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's their graphic novel, and it's I haven't been able to really dig into it yet, but they got a bunch of different artists to work on it. So whenever it changes perspective or changes kind of tonality, they change the art style. So I think it'll be cool thing to read through.
Cool.
Yeah, but that's about what I got going on, and of course the obligatory role playing game modules and source material.
Which one of those
gotcha.
are you
Uh,
looking into?
Right now, I am currently running Storm King's Thunder for one group. It's from
I've heard a lot of good stuff about that one.
yeah, so one of the modules they printed for early on for D&D 5th edition, and it's a good time. Recently, the party got involved in some political intrigue in one city, and then promptly all submitted themselves for a cage fight in the next town over.
Oh boy.
Yeah, the cleric managed to win his first round, so kudos to him.
Yeah.
That's about what I got for current reading.
What's the age of your group that you're running with?
So I play one group that is our weekly group. It's all mid-20s. The other group, which we do monthly, it's mid-20s to mid-30s. So yeah, we're kind of all at the point where we're starting to develop lower back issues.
Does that have to do with the game or how you're playing it?
I think it's
I had no
long
idea what the-
sessions, huh?
It's just the sitting for at least 5 hours. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll do it.
Alrighty. Now, Quentin, I know you're also something of a board game person, having developed one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so we'll come around to yourself. I guess we'll do this now as games of the moment, or we're doing this since you're going to be our subject matter expert. But Brent, how about yourself? Any go-to tabletop RPGs or board games?
No.
No.
He is not a
don't
gamer.
have- I'm sorry. The thing of it is, I just don't have the patience. There's only one thing I know of that I can spend more than 3 hours doing at a time. One is the director's cuts of the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yes.
And the other is a video game that is actually grabbed my attention, which I'm finding is not necessarily the case anymore. But I've tried board games. I think I've told you guys before. It left me with, kind of like if I was playing a board game, I would feel similarly to like if I was stuck at the DMV all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know some people love it, and I wish them the best.
I'm getting memories now of that conversation. I think it's been about a year since our board game episode, but yeah, I remember
It hasn't actually been as long for me because I went back and looked at some old Silverline streams.
Oh yeah,
and him talking about games. It's hilarious.
Wow. Has it been that long? How long?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. It's been a while.
Been a while.
Dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'm coming up on 2-3 years of Silverline. I joined like October before we started the weekly shows. So yeah, it's kind of nutty actually. All right, I guess I don't know if Haley was on our show when we had the original board game episode, but if you were recap, if
I
not,
remember talking about that, but if it was a year ago, I don't think I've been doing streams for a year yet.
I'm not sure. We'll have to look it up. But
like, I don't know, or maybe we talked about card games.
we talked about trading card games recently.
That sounds
Yeah, I
familiar.
think a couple different times y'all have talked about board games, sometimes more in the regular card games, and then I think the other time was a little more in depth into
Yeah, because just recently we started talking about
gaming games.
collectibles, and that led into trading card games the next week. Because I remember because Quentin was there and he pulled out our Commander decks afterwards.
Yeah.
Commander deck.
Yes. It's format of Magic the Gathering where you use 100 cards, but you're only allowed to carry a single copy of each card.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll admit, you said card, and then it started like you just making blah blah noises. And again, I'm happy for you guys that you have found something to do you with. So keep it up.
Right. I guess Haley, any experience with tabletop games, go-tos, favorites, strong negative emotions?
I've played D&D once in college, just one time, and like I was like, this is interesting, but I kind of got stage fright. I was like, even though I was just with like 2 other people, I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to have my character do. Like, what do I say?
Yeah, I don't really know what's the best way to start a RPG tabletop. To be around a bunch of people who all know what they're doing, or to not be around people that don't know what, I don't know which is better, because, you get around the real people who've been doing it for years, and then it's like they're just, you feel so intimidated. But then, if you're around a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing, then pretty much everything's a bunch of questions all night, well, what do we do now? Or what do you do, if you do this, or, everybody's kind of unsure what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember because like the people I was playing with, like I don't think they were super experienced that they'd played. Like that was my first and only time, but it did end up being fun. Then later when we did like combat and had like some graph paper with like series, I was like, okay, this feels more like a video game. You just have to calculate it yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's like a method to it, and it's not just like, what's your character gonna do? I'm like, I don't know. What can I do? Anything. I was like,
Yeah, I try to steer clear of any kind of RPG that somebody's running and they don't really focus very much on the rules, because the rules are kind of there to. I mean, I'm all for bending them when you have to, but sometimes people get a little too loose, and then it's not good to me when people get too loose.
We abide by the rule of cool.
But that's good.
But for the most part, we try not to let anything too game breaking happen.
Right.
I'm sorry, you said the rule of
cool. Yes.
Rule of cool.
So if you do something, you're like, what if I, jumped over this guy's shoulder and shot an arrow to the guy next to him? Then your game master will be like, all right, sure, roll this for it. There's nothing in the actual rulebook that says you can do that, but as the game master, you're allowed to be like, yeah, have a Legolas moment, see if you've tripped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
It can be really cool if you got a good group and you got a good DM, a guy that's running it. I mean, it can be awesome, but it can also be bad. Bad, very bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be open to trying it again, but I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like when something else is doing it for me. I click the buttons and I enjoy like RPG type video games where it's like, okay, it'll just do it for me. I don't have to. It'll roll the dice for me.
You don't have to formulate your own dialogue.
Yeah.
I can from, like, you can RP it if you want to.
Yeah.
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 I know there's a lot of people who RP in video games, but I just can't imagine doing that, playing a video game by myself and, doing different voices and stuff. And just, I don't know. I guess maybe I kind of do that anyway, but.
Yeah. I mean, my weekly group is all a bunch of dudes who I did the community theater with, and my.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So, but.
Wow.
Yeah, but also it's.
You should stream that.
Well, we've been wanting to do a Silverline D&D stream because Scott and Rory are also frequent D&Ders.
Really?
Yeah, and so we got Quentin in there as well. So if Haley's down to try sometime, we might put something together.
That sounds fun.
And then we'll get Brent in there as well, just so he can just sit back, arms crossed, and say, "I have no idea what's going on."
Yeah.
Actually, what I typically do is I just bring a book, and
Yeah.
everybody's happy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our monthly group is a bunch of musicians, actually. So it's weird how that worked out. Oddly, no bards in the group.
That is odd.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a weird time. Just getting, I find D&D groups either get the very mathematical people, and it turns into a more Diablo-like experience in terms of the video game comparison, where it's just I just want to kill things and loot rooms, or you get a bunch of the super creatives, and then it's just free theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brent, do you remember the episode where y'all were doing the voices for the comics?
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of how it kind of reminded me of a role playing game a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, see, if that was like I've never played that kind of game, I might be interested in that kind of game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it's a lot the same.
Yeah, it's kind of
Is
just
it?
yeah, it's just you just do like you do improv back and forth, is kind of messing around for a little bit, and
I
then
love that stuff.
and then once combat breaks out, that's when the dice take come out. But
Yeah, you basically make your own character, and based on the rules that they give you, and then you just just like if you were a character in a book, you play that character. Like if you were an actor, I mean, you don't have to do voices. Some people do, but whenever situations arise, you kind of have to stay in character and do what they can do according to your sheet, and play your character out. It's really it can get really cool.
Well, now okay. Is there an actual board involved?
there can be,
Well, you can,
but we both of my groups have actually started doing just more kind of strictly theater of the mind for combat, because we found we focus more on the character moments rather than actual combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm intrigued.
All right.
And I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I have a couple of friends who play it, but I think they've had to scale it back a little bit recently.
Well, let me
so-
tell
Yeah.
you that in Magic, there was a friend of mine in school, and I called him an idiot for about a year. And I mean, because he was always playing all these, Magic the Gathering, and this is back in the 90s. And they were role playing, and I was like, man, what a waste of time,
Mhm.
and finally, I don't even know what sparked this. I have no idea how it started. I guess everybody was around. I said, I'm bored. Let me check it out. And that was it. And from that point on, it was like, and how do you do this? And how do you do that?
Mhm.
And I wanted to learn more about it because it snagged me. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
not a hard gamer. I used to be, but kind of my competitive. I'm not real competitive anymore.
Mhm.
Uh,
I like playing games for fun. Yeah.
yeah.
I think the only thing I'm really competitive with is actually a video game, and that's Destiny. But also, I'm a Destiny streamer, so I feel like it's kind of in the job requirement.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, for me, it's Magic to some extent, but tabletop role playing games and Warhammer 40,000. But that's the one where if you are already turned off by board games, we see Warhammer and you want to leave the state.
Yeah. That.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The minis are cool though.
Intricate little the figures.
There's movies?
Unfortunately, not good ones. But the miniatures, the little minis used for them. Yeah.
A lot of money
Oh.
in that stuff too. I mean, it's an investment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
especially 40K.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
the black hole.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I think what I'm afraid of is I got into comics basically the same way, Quentin, you just described getting into games. And I'm like, comics then proceeded to to take over my life, kind of
Yeah,
like how the
yeah.
Nazis took over Poland. So I'm like, I'm not sure I want history to repeat itself
That's
like that.
fair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, also the double-edged sword then of role-playing games is the fact that it does require longer sessions and a group to get together. Is that it takes over your life more infrequently, but then once you get the bite, you start tweaking until the next session.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I mean, there's a friend of mine actually who just started probably a year and a half ago, and she had never role played. Didn't know she had played RuneScape,
Mm.
and somebody had kind of got her into playing that. But then she started playing. She sat in for a game of D&D, and let me tell you, she D&Ds now 4 times a week. She does like charities and all kinds of stuff. She's been on streams and all. I mean, she just went. But I know what you mean, Brett, because like it's like me. There's certain things that I don't try because I'm afraid I'll like it. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Mhm.
I have never ate a McRib. I have never ate a McRib. Everybody always talks about the McRib. I've never ate one because they bring it out and then they take it away. And I'm like, the worst thing that could happen is me to bite into that sucker and love it,
Yeah.
and then them take it away. I don't want to do that.
When for whatever reason in Orlando, Florida, I feel like the McRib is there more frequently than other parts of the country. Maybe it's a Florida thing.
I wonder.
Yeah, but
It's not necessarily by choice, but I mean, I know exactly what you're saying, Quentin, because essentially it's like, when you're in your 20s and you're like, I want to try everything.
Yeah.
I can do anything. And, all the pop singers are telling me how, you just have to love yourself and go and make it happen. And
Right.
yeah, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I can't do it. I can do some things.
right.
Yep.
So I have to count the cost pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my time is, so full. I really don't have
Mhm.
time to really get super involved with anything
hmm
very new. It's not that I
Yep.
don't want to do some new things, but it's like,
Yeah.
man, I'm already,
Mm.
my schedule is already so nuts now.
That's always like the most painful moment of growing up when you realize you have to cut something or to make time for something else.
Yeah, that and
Yeah.
being your own parent, holy
Yeah.
moly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But I will say an addendum to that is if you know that you can't do everything, but suddenly you know what you want to do,
Mhm.
that is one of the best things about being
Oh,
an
yeah.
adult.
yeah, and then also once you start focusing it in, you start getting really good at some things.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
right, kids. Adulting is good.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it just if as long as you can make it through tax season and open enrollment, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yes. And your first mortgage.
Oh
Yes.
Lord.
Mm.
See, I'm on the opposite end of that table, and it still hurts me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, one day we shall be free.
Indeed. What was I gonna say? Man, I had a whole thing. Wow.
Well,
All right.
while
Anyway,
we're in the dead space here, the game that I made, the reason I made it is because I had a group, and the group kind of dissolved, and then I ended up moving because a lot of these games you have to have people
hmm
to play them,
Mm.
and a lot of times with adults, as we were just talking about, have schedules, and that's another issue. Trying to get people together to be able to play them because people have children, they have things they have to do. Well, this game that I made is not only multiple player, but it's also single player, and it's kind of in the realm of Hero Quest. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that at all.
Yeah.
It's an old game. They actually have it for sale again, I think, on Hasbro Pulse.
Huh.
It was a great game. But it's a game that you can sit down, you can play. There's in it, like you said, Haley, the rules and the way the game works, it kind of runs itself, and all you have to do is spin, roll, and just play the game. So
Nice.
Relic Quest.
Perfect.
But that's what it was born out of. I lost my group, and then I was just taking my experience with other games that I'd liked and kind of mashing them up together. And of course, getting other people to play it, play test it, and all that kind of stuff. Play tested it for years, and after people were like, "Man, you really have to take this somewhere," and I never did take it to anybody to pitch it or anything like that. I just decided one day, you know what, I'm just going to make this game, and that's what I did. It's about over 150 pieces of art, everything down to the box, and all 330 cards that are in the game. And it was a mammoth task, but I got it done, and it's kind of out there. I haven't done really a hard rollout of it yet because I'm kind of letting a few people play it, and put some feedback on there, and eventually maybe I'll kickstart it.
There you go.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You did all the art for it?
All of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Well, I was doing comics back around 2009, 2010, and 11, and I just wasn't. It wasn't that I just wasn't having fun doing it because kind of the state of things. We're just getting a little. There wasn't a Silverline. I'll put it that way.
Sure.
And so I kind of got a little disenchanted, with the way things were going. So I just, I like this. This is what I like doing. So I'll try this. And so that's what I did. Started on it, and I think it took me about a year and a half, and it was done. And that's working and having 2 new kids, so that kind of slowed it down. But then
Yeah.
I think it's fully done to print in 2 years from the time that it hit me, kind of like Doc Brown and the flux capacitor.
Yeah.
To the end. So
That's awesome.
Really cool.
So, in less time and more playable than Cyberpunk.
yeah, yeah, that's funny.
Okay, well, it is 6:56 on the left coast. We did have a little bit of a later start today, but I believe 2 of our members are going to be hopping off shortly here. And I think we agreed that we're going to have this one be our shorter week. So I will go ahead again and pay some bills by thanking who's up first. History Camp America, July 10th, 2021. You can find them online, I believe, at the History List. And they have a weekly series with historians, as well as a digital camp happening this summer. And of course, Daytona Beach Comic Convention happening in September. You can find exact dates and tickets on their website as well. So we are at the denouement of our show this week. So we have talked about what we're reading, what we have either played or intend on playing. I think my video feeds have froze here. Yeah, everyone's frozen for me. All right, cool. Thank you, Discord, for that. Let me do this real quick.
So
That was
let's all talk about our most embarrassing moment.
Oh,
ever.
boy.
perfect.
Oh, he's
There you go. Well, that was weird. All right, we're back for the last 3 minutes. So we've talked about what we read, what we played. Real quick, I guess. TV shows, movies, whatever anyone has watched, is watching, intends to watch. Brent, why don't you hit it?
movies.
Movies, TV shows.
Oh man,
Yeah,
you mean that I have consumed in recent memory?
sure.
I actually see. I have the Regal Unlimited app,
Ooh,
and they just reopened the Regal about 5 minutes from my house, so I've been going a lot. And so, what films have I seen? I've seen. Have you guys ever used the Letterboxd app?
I have not.
It actually charts. You can keep track of everything. I've seen over the last few days. I saw Nobody for the second time. It's a lot of fun. It's like John Wick and The Burbs. It's a lot of fun, and
Huh.
Bob Odenkirk is in it, and he's just really fun to watch. Wrath of Man, which I thought kind of sucked. Mortal Kombat, which I enjoyed more because I guess I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah.
I saw the movie The Unholy, which I actually give a pretty good thumbs up. It was pretty scary. I saw Godzilla versus Kong, which I thought was fine. And I saw the movie The Courier, which with Benedict Cumberbatch, which I thought was actually a pretty good story. Saw Voyagers, which was actually not bad. I saw a movie called Promising Young Woman that was actually quite well done. And I think got some Oscar love. I can't remember, but those are the movies I have seen recently. It's weird. I've been seeing more movies in a theater than I've been seeing at home, which tells me that the world has righted itself.
There you go.
So,
Yep.
yes.
All right. Haley.
Can't think of anything.
Fair.
I haven't been to a movie theater. I mean, the movie theaters are open here, but I haven't been.
All right. Not watching any shows at home or anything.
Not really. I'll
That's
just
fair.
like if I'm like wanting to watch TV while I'm drawn before I go to bed, I'll just turn on like The Office or Friends. That's like all that's on that I want to watch.
Yep.
America's comfort food. Yes.
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 All right. Quentin.
Well, I was warned about Wonder Woman 1984. And I did it. And everything that I was told, I was not told the half of it. It was terrible. It was absolutely, I mean,
I wanted to see
for
that,
me,
but I
it was not terrible. It was not for me. To somebody, it's probably your favorite movie, and sorry, I just didn't like it. So that was one of the few times that I actually get to sit down and watch a movie for any length of time. A lot of times I watch shows or listen to podcasts while I'm working. And when I do that, I just a lot of times just go to old episodes of NCIS or something like that. Just something to have going that I don't have to look at. Um, I used to listen to radio shows, like the classic radio shows, a lot, and from back in the '60s and the '50s and all that. Those were pretty fun. But recently, I haven't really seen anything. I keep getting disappointed with new things, just because the way they kind of do things now. So
Sure.
every now and then I'll sit down and watch something, but not very often.
We our theaters are hit and miss here, so I haven't been in one in a while. pretty sure the first movie one's in the theater is going to be Black Widow. Yeah, but I don't really put on TV too frequently either. Usually it's just if I have like a spare 15 minutes, I'll put on YouTube. But
Yeah.
I've been trying to watch The Bad Batch as that comes out weekly, and
I do watch The Mandalorian. I haven't
Oh,
caught
yeah.
up, but
it's a good one. The most recently, I actually,
That's pretty good.
it's I think it's finding its legs. But I mean, season 1 of Clone Wars was also not the best, so I'm going to give it the first couple episodes and see what it does from like episode 5 on. But the last time I actually had like a couple hours to. Well, I don't know. I had to watch it in 2 sittings. But recently I just rewatched The Lost Boys.
yeah,
The
classic.
movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Classic.
Joel Schumacher at his best.
Hmm.
I see a Tommy.
I see a Tommy as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to just jump in real quick while I had a second to say hello, everybody.
Hello, Tommy.
Hello, Mr. Tommy.
Yeah. If you got a second, real quick, tell us most recent thing you read, most recent board game you played, most recent thing you watched.
Lightning round. Go.
I did play. We finally played that card game that you guys were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Cards Without Humanity, or whatever.
Cards Against Humanity, yes.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I didn't, even though we didn't get the dirty version, it still had so much dirty talk in it that it was kind of embarrassing because I was the only guy and there was 3 other girls making me read all kind of dirty stuff because I don't say anything dirty.
And I bet that was even more funny because you were embarrassed and it was awkward.
Oh no, I wasn't embarrassed. I just didn't want to embarrass them.
Oh yeah.
Movies. I did watch. Finally, got to watch the King Kong Godzilla thing. That was about it. We started watching Mortal Kombat, but my wife wanted to watch something else on Hallmark, so I think we switched. And that was about it. And what was the other question?
Most recent thing you read.
Most recent thing I read. The recent thing I read, because as we all don't realize that I've just now made my trip back home to Mississippi, which is the reason why I'm late. I live in Orlando now, but we just now got home. Everybody's been vaccinated and stuff, so we just now did Christmas for all of us.
Wow.
Oh,
Read on how to some instruction manuals on how to get these fancy lights that we got my father-in-law to figure out how to get his high-powered lights to work properly. So there you go.
Perfect.
How's that?
There we go.
Yeah.
Now we're speed there.
That's great. Tommy should write his own review of how he started out watching Mortal Kombat, but then decided to switch to the Hallmark
Yes.
channel.
I know, right?
Everything.
What a
I do-
segue.
I've mentioned lots of times in the past that I do a lot of my work and just sitting in front of the TV and kind of stuff. So it's just whatever. I'm not too picky about what's on TV. It's whatever my wife wants to watch. So we typically watch a lot of Hallmark stuff and a lot of NCIS stuff and that kinds of things. A lot of YouTube videos and stuff. So I end up watching just a bunch of whatever she wants to watch for the most part.
Fair.
I'm easygoing
There you
while
go.
I'm working. Yeah. Since the day job, is busy getting everybody else's books printed, so the only time I have to work on my own comic stuff and Silverline stuff is pretty much last couple hours of every day sitting in front of the TV.
Nice.
You're a giver, Tommy.
What?
You're a giver.
I'm a giver. I just do, I'm easygoing. Just just whatever she's wanting to watch. She'll get to ask what do you want to watch this and this, and I'm like, sure, let's just watch more makeup videos. That's fine. Let's go.
Yeah, my wife, she does that too, and like I go to watch something and all my history is filled up with makeup videos and
Oh yeah.
pretty crazy. I never know what I'm going to see when I open my YouTube up.
Yeah, it's just whatever. Yeah, luckily, I've got it set up where we're got our different user profiles or whatever. So usually when I log in, it's always the TV. We got a smart TV, so it's always whatever. It was always turned to her thing, and then I got to switch it over to mine, and then I end up watching some mountain bike videos or some magic trick stuff or whatever. And she comes in, well, we're not watching that. We're gonna watch it. I'm like, okay, all right, switch it to whatever you want.
Tommy, you're also one of our Silverline Star Wars followers, as documented by your hat. Have you been watching any of the Bad Batch, as that is new?
Any of the what?
The Bad Batch.
What's that?
It's the most recent Star Wars show. So it's following a group of clones following after Order 66.
No, what is this on to Disney Plus? They got a new
It's on
show?
Plus.
Yep.
I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard conflicting things, but I've heard a lot of good stuff. I think it's interesting.
And it's like any Spider-Man stuff. If it stinks, I still like it because I like Spider. So even I don't like the first episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Star Wars, but I still watch them whenever they're on. So what Star Wars stuff, like the latest movies, people liked them, some people hated them. I still like them. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Watch it.
It's I tell people if they're like, yeah, I like episode 5, but I don't like the rest of them. Like, well, everyone who's into Star Wars acknowledges that a lot of it's not great. We just bought into the cult. Like,
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I like Star Wars.
Yes.
So what is
Star
it?
Wars
Like, is it live action or is it?
it's animated, so it's it's a follow up to the Clone Wars. So they did some enhancements on that animation style.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a cool
So it's
premise,
like
cool
super
story.
animated and stuff. Yeah, it's not like the Cartoon Network Clone War animated.
It's like an updated
Oh,
Clone Wars.
yeah. Although that
It sounded like that.
the old Cartoon Network Clone Wars is now also on Disney Plus as well. So yeah.
I don't. It's crazy that I never even knew that it existed. I must have turned my head backwards.
Yeah.
Since
Turn your hat backwards and
Yes.
shave.
yeah, that's right. You cannot wear that.
It's the
Properly.
all right. Well, like we had said at the top of the show, we have 2 people who need to dip. Tommy is doing a family function right now, so he would not be able to last with us for the full show.
Yeah, I go back in there in the. I told them all to stay off the internet long enough so I could just jump
Perfect.
on and say hello. It's kind of we gotta get a slow connection. I am way out in the woods, but I love it out here.
That's
it's
fair.
so great.
All
But love you guys, and I'll see y'all. I'll be back in next week, and I'll tell y'all about the convention. If anybody's listening to this, it's going to be at PencilCon this weekend. We're going to attempt to go. I got my mask, even though I'm vaccinated, but we're still supposed to mask up, even with all the new rules and regulations and stuff. And so we'll see how it goes. I'll give y'all a report. This is a sort of halfway. It's a pretty good sized show. So I'll let y'all know how it goes next week and see how it turns out.
Sounds good.
Give y'all a report.
All right.
But y'all be good.
You too.
All right. All right.
Here,
bye.
Mr. Tommy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Alrighty. So we're gonna get ready to head on off ourselves. So we can start preparing the topic for next week, I guess, since we just kind of made do and did the awkward speed dating questions tonight. So before we head off, nobody died. We're good. It's content. Everything is content. So before I head off, Brent, got any words of wisdom as is tradition?
Oh man. or go see a movie in a theater, America. Support the industry. Just, also see something good. And buy some refreshments. And actually, I'm making this all up. Actually, do whatever you want. America.
Live your best life.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we're going to head off. This was our awkward short week, but we will be back next week with maybe the rest of our cast and maybe an actual topic. And until then, always remember to make mine Silverline.
Silverline. Yes.
Silverline, yes. Yeah.
Yes, catchphrase.